to history students, and half of them are following C and fourth period. But this matters because if you understand the tone of the macro space, you are going to see what might come next within crypto, because there's two things you all need to understand. Number one, do not fight the Fed. There's a reason that they say that, right? Do not fight the Fed. And on top of that, not only can we not fight the Fed, we roll with the trend. And once I pull the charts out, you're going to
welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. I'm so grateful that you have honestly taken some time out of your day to spend it with me. Happy New Year's Eve, and I hope that this year has been much blessings to you and your family. I am visiting mine, and that's why I'm in a new environment, in the guest room in my mother's house. But I'm sure many of you understand the joys and the hardships of visiting family during the holidays. So the next thing I really wanted to talk about is the market itself. So I didn't have a lot of time to put this out there and share my live stream, but I did have time to compile a report, right? So first and foremost, hold on one second.
Look at that. It looks like some meme coin or creator token right here, right?
If you haven't realized, Bitcoin has really the whole crypto market has been in a compression phase, right? And on top of that, all the different investors, traders, analysts, everyone out there is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Is it going to go all around? The truth is nobody truly knows. Nobody truly knows. But if we take a look at what has occurred over 2025, we can get a clearer picture of what's next. And in this live stream, we're going to look at not just what Bitcoin is doing right now, but what we see could happen in the first half of 2026. So today is the absolute final trading day of the year in the U.S. stock markets. And as I said, Bitcoin is compressed. It's coiling under 89K. And who knows, either a breakout or a breakdown is going to be imminent. But look, breakouts are extremely likely when the charts look like this. So we're going to look at the charts in just a minute. But first, I wanted to go over some macro context. Now, Bitcoin has basically been range bound between 93K and 86K. If we wanted to go on the full wide range, about 94 to 80K. Now, we'll take a look at the charts, but basically our major resistance is like 91.3, 91.5, all the way up to 93. And then our downside resistance would be 86 to 85, and then the lower range would be around the lower 80,000 range. So there seems to be very much a balance between the longs and the shorts in the market right now. And it's crazy because a lot of this, more than you think, is relative to the macroeconomic cycles. If you've paid attention to anything on our channel, or if you've been with us a long time, or you read our works over on DADSDEFISPACE.org, then you already know that we are a believer of the 18 to 20 year real estate cycle, and we are rounding to the end of that cycle. Now, if we take a look at the macro context of the last 12 months, jobless claims have been down, but now we're seeing some hurt in the labor market, right? So there are some that still believe there will be more rate cuts in January. There are also some that believe there will not be more rate cuts in January. If there are not more rate cuts, you do know that the market is probably going to start off on a downtrend, right? So if we take a look at the S&P 500, hold on one second, get my charts up. we take a look at the S&P 500 and we can zoom the heck out, you can see that. Let me take these fib levels off so you can see this a little bit better. I think it would be much better. There we go. The stock market has been on a ridiculous bull market, literally since 2023. Since 2023, the S&P 500 has literally gone up almost 100%. Take that, bonds. And the crazy part is there may still be some steam in the S&P 500. I'm going to go down to a lower time frame when we're looking at the 4-hour chart. You can see that we have touched in with a higher high, right around 6,945. But we are below our support resistance of 6,888. This is the line in the sand of the stock market I'm watching. What the crazy part is there's been a lot more bullishness in the stock market and commodities than in Bitcoin this year. Bitcoin's run seemed to have come early. This was a Bitcoin-dominated cycle, right? Hold on, I didn't have my charts up, excuse me. Uh-oh. All right, we're going to have to fix my charts. I apologize, guys. So, I don't know why this is missing. So, hold on 1 second. And hopefully that will fix it, but it's not looking like it. Oh my gosh. So we cannot see my charts. This is nuts. Hold on. That's probably my second monitor. See, we are on vacation. Our monitors are not the way they're normally set up. We usually have 2 or 3 different monitors. I only have one, and my screen is missing. So give me just a second to reset this up. Enjoy some tunes while we do this. There we go. Okay, don't ask me why that was so jacked up. I actually have no idea. But what we're gonna do, hold on 1 second. All right. It's not perfect, but I think that'll function for today. I apologize, but we got to get this right. All right, let's go back to what we were talking about, macro conditions. So as you can see, the stock market literally has been on a tear for the duration of this cycle. We bottomed in 2025 in April. There was another bottom here, which was April of 2024. Another bottom in October 2023, and then our macro long-term bottom in October of 2022. Well, since the bottom of the bottom, we've literally gone up 100%. As I was saying earlier, what's crazy is it hasn't just been the stock market, which, by the way, has correspond to the dollar index. And I know I've talked about in previous videos of Bitcoin being the inverse of the dollar index, and that was not the case this time. The dollar index, as you can see, has been on a serious downtrend, and the stock market has been on a serious uptrend, right? That just means that liquidity in the world has been moving literally from dollars to risk on assets like stocks. Now, gold is not really a risk on asset, but it is something to fight inflation. When people are bullish on the dollar, gold goes down, and that is not what happened this cycle. Now, what's interesting is, as you can see, after gold bottomed out, which was around, what, $3,000. Actually, really, here's the macro bottom, because if we look here, look at that. We were range bound from like April of 25 to August of 25, and gold went on this massive parabolic run this year. We're talking in less than a year, gold goes up like 35, almost 40%. Now, we are looking at a 4-hour chart. You go on the weekly, you can see this even more. Look at this craziness on the gold chart, right? And that's not even the nutty one. The crazy chart, and I'm sure all of you all know this, we would have been better off literally in silver than Bitcoin. I never thought I would say that, but right? I want to go down to a daily chart here, and you can see this craziness that silver did. Now, all these people that were screaming like, convert it into silver, go to silver, long silver, they're saying that like right here, right? And you have this one wick in one day, all right? Look at that. That wick is a 60% wick. Wow. Now, I just realized that I pulled up the silver 3, so that's a 3x chart. That's not going to give us proper looks. Excuse me. Let's go to the regular silver chart. We'll just pull up.
This is basically
let's see.
the whole last market cycle. ETH never had its time to shine. This little area right here, which literally was what?
We're going to just pull up the futures on Coinbase. That'll work.
September 25.
So as you can see, in 2025, people are still kind of bullish on silver. It's nuts. Anyway, you're probably wondering, why are you spending so much time, Kevin, talking about commodities, talking about the stock market, and not talking about what we love, which is crypto? Well, it's all interrelated, okay? Every single bit of this is interrelated. And on top of it all being interrelated, if you truly want to have all the information in front of you to make good informed decisions, then you got to study the charts. You got to study the markets. And that's something we should put as crypto investors as one of our New Year's resolutions. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to talk about
We were talking about, and I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to check any of the messages. I'll
is
check them after the stream. I'll try to get
weakness.
back with everybody. But
It does
over here,
seem that weakness could be coming back into the market.
Ethereum
It being the end of the business and real estate cycle, the stock market tends to have one final pump before a massive correction. So to me, this is an extremely critical inflection point, right?
break back into this super downtrend, which we might.
The thing is if you are trading out there, please be careful. These are some of the most dangerous markets. They will chop you up, grind you up, and spit you out. So you literally have to trade like a sniper and not trade
This is the area we're watching.
like a kamikaze bomber just blowing the whole room up, I guess.
ETH, Bitcoin
But
breaks down here. That means Bitcoin is sucking out all
before I
of
go any farther, please understand that none of this here is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and never invest more than you can afford to lose. But if you do want access to market updates and my personal trades and positions and plays, consider joining our free Telegram group or DM me if you want to join our premium group that is just opening up. You get free access by signing up with our L Bank exchange link in the description, 15% off all your trading fees. I'm also going to leave links for Dad's DeFi Space in our free DeFi course. Best defense in this space is good education, okay? Good education. Now, next, I really wanted to take a look.
trillion market cap on Total 3. Now, if you don't know, Total 3 is the total market cap minus
Crypto bubbles, just because I want to show you how some of our positions looked at the end of the year. And we were wrecked on some of these, let's just be real. Render got us. Beam got us. I'm still in Pendle, and that one's not looking too hot. We got out of Tia in the nick of time, way earlier in the year. Jupiter was a huge disappointment, and Stacks was also a huge disappointment. We are consolidating our portfolio down to just core positions, and I'm focusing mainly on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I actually think that Bitcoin dominance could run if the market gets hot again, but next correction, I actually think Bitcoin dominance may start going down because altcoins have just been so decimated over the last, let's say, 3, 4, 5 months. So enough of depressing stuff. Let's look at the weekly. Looks a little bit better, but not really. The month, that's still pretty bad. And even on the hourly, and you can see some of our favorite positions and your favorite positions, and just kind of range bound today. We don't know what's going to happen yet. A lot of time, there's not a lot of volatility on these last days of the year, things like that. So we need to be prepared for what's going to come next. So let's just take a look at some charts. If you're interested in no, but I don't think anyone told me that that was running. That's terrible. We're going to take a look at some charts. Hold on one second. All right. First, I wanted to bring up our Bitcoin chart. And I've talked about this in the last stream, but Bitcoin is absolutely fighting to get back above what I consider my buy zone right now, which is anywhere between $80,000 to $89,000. And we are just struggling to try to get above this yellow box. Right now, and I've already talked about this in my Freemium Group, I'm looking at a Bitcoin long or an Ethereum long, but not until Bitcoin reclaims above, say, 91.2, 91.3K. That is basically going to be approximately right around here on the chart. If we can get back above this white line, which is basically 94.5, it could be back on, at least temporarily. Now, just because the market gets hot and it pumps up like crazy, that doesn't mean that the bull market is back on, right? And if we go down to a longer time frame, and this is going to look crazy. I'm going to go on the month chart. Yeah, those are still my bear and bull cases. And you can see right here, right? This is basically my entire crypto life cycle, right? If you look at the arrow right here, that's double top of last market cycle, right? And I want to throw on, see if I can find a 200-week moving average to throw on the chart. We'll just throw this multi-time frame one. It didn't work. Hold on one second. No, I don't want this chart. There, this will work. So what I just put on the chart is the 50-week and the 200-week moving average, right? This is the 50-week, the green line, and this blue line right here is the 200-week moving averages. Now, if you take a look at the 50-week, the bull run ends at when we break below the 50-week. We broke below it here, capitulation. We broke below it here, more capitulation, right? And that's 2 cycles back. And if we look here, what happened the 10th of November? We broke through the 50-week moving average again. What that means is there's a pretty good chance that we are in the bear market right now, even though many people don't want to admit that. And I know I've heard the super cycle, and it's not really that way, and 2026 will be super bullish. Now look, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin will not run hotter. It doesn't. It does not mean that Bitcoin's going to run hotter. But what it does mean, if you take a look here, the 50-week moving average has been an excellent indicator to show us when cycles are over. Here, although it was a little late on that call, right here, slightly late, but look at that. I mean, you would have avoided all this capitulation. And then we've broken below it here. Now, I did de-risk, but not near as much as I should have. I can be hard-headed just like everyone else. That is why in this space, you have to learn to control your emotions, okay? And I struggle with it myself. That is why having a good community and friend group who is investing with you can be almost imperative and sometimes hard to find, especially in crypto. You'll find lots of people, but they might not necessarily be the right people to keep you level-headed. But if you're looking for a group like that, please consider joining our free Telegram or checking out DADSDEFISPACE. Now, the next thing I want to show you is this. I'm going to show you some bottom of the bear market. You had a bear market low here and here, right? 1, 2. You had another bear market low here, way below what this line, by the way, this blue line right here is a 200-week moving average. And most cycles towards the end of the bear market, Bitcoin will touch the 200-day moving average. Now, as you can see, it's moving up pretty high. Maybe by midsummer, the 200-week is at 69, 70K. If it is, that means that could be the bottom of the bear. It's kind of hard to say. But trust me on this, when no one really knows, because everyone was talking about it last cycle, and look what happened here. We had never, ever broken below the 200-week moving average, but after the FTX collapse, the capitulation that started to occur due to the collapse of Terra Luna last cycle, that actually broke us below the 200-week moving average. It's crazy, right? You see, when it looks like the bull market really took off, we broke above the 200-week here, we broke above it here, off to the races. So no matter what happens over the next little bit, I'll be watching those two indicators, the 50-week and the 200-week. And let me show you something else. But let's go back to last bear market. I'll zoom in a little bit. During the first capitulation that began, what was that, November, just like this year of 2021, we went on a downtrend all the way to the end of January. You know, basically, it could be the same as what's happening right now. But what happened when we bottomed out finally? You know, a good amount below the 50-week. Well, we bottom out and we have a bounce. We have a high and then a higher high. We get back up to the 50-week and then we really capitulate it all the way down below the 200. Now, we have done this each cycle, right? Here. And then the one I just showed you here, right? Maybe it happens again. Maybe not, but that's kind of how I'm looking at things, because until it shows differently, I'm still a believer in the 4-year cycle. But I do believe the bear market is going to be a lot shorter than it has been. So thinking about that, right? What could be coming up? Well, the 50-week moving average right now is sitting at 101K, almost 102K. Maybe Bitcoin has a run back above 100K. Now, what's really interesting is if I add in the bull market support band. Notice something? When we broke below the bull market support band right here and capitulated, we came back up to the 50-week in the bull market support band, broke above the bull market support band, and then capitulated down. So that is what I'm watching. This is what I'm watching. The 50-week and the bull market support band and the 200-week. All those moving averages give me a good kind of gauge of where Bitcoin is in the cycle and what I should do in my portfolio. Now, that is a lot about Bitcoin. And this year, we had so many big news stories going on, and I can't bring them all up, but this was the year of institutions, of ETFs. the Trump crypto presidency, which ended up not being that great for us. In fact, that was one of the most bullish times during this entire market cycle. We broke the all-time high before the halving, which has never happened before. So it is not surprising now that if the cycle is over, we kind of got an early start. Now, I'm not saying that we couldn't be winding up for a massive bounce, because that would not surprise me one bit, and I'm trying to prepare myself to be emotionally ready for that to happen. You should do the same, because that is where the biggest mistakes are going to happen this market cycle. Okay? Now, let's take a look at ETH, and then we'll look at Bitcoin ETH in just a minute, right? Now, I really got to zoom in on this chart, so I'm going to go to the daily. And you can see our double trading range in ETH that goes between 2,800 and 3,000. Actually, right now, we're bouncing between 29 and 3,000, which is even smaller. But until Ethereum gets back above 50-week, holds it as support, which right now the 50-week is sitting right at 3,000. That's why we've been fighting with this range with Ethereum so hard recently. And by the way, on that note, you notice this Bitcoin dominance is kind of slowly ticking back up. I kind of wish I would have taken that Bitcoin dominance long down in September. I thought about it. I didn't take it. I'll think about that next time. And on top of that, if we go back to the ETH chart, take it to the monthly, right? We got all the way up to $5,000 this market cycle. That was considered the top for many. I was shooting for about an $8,000 Ethereum, but I was a little too bullish for that, obviously. But if Ethereum during the last bear market, and here, let me zoom out a little bit. All right, here it is. We topped out at around 4,800, right? Our first top was May, and then a second top in November, here and here. But what's interesting, if you take a look at this, the entire time we were above the bull market support band. We broke above the bull market support band all the way down to 2,200. We bounced back above the bull market support band and then went all the way back down, right? And we went all the way back down to hit this moving average. See? Okay. Now, what am I expecting? I'm actually expecting us to get back above the bull market support band, so I could see ETH running back up to somewhere between $3,800 and $4,000. I think that's going to be a range that I'm really going to be watching to short ETH. At least that's how I'm playing it right now. It is not the time for altcoins, even though I am in altcoins right now. Now, if you follow the channel, you know exactly what my high conviction plays are. I'll be coming out with a video of my 2026 high conviction plays in the next couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for that. But we'll go ahead and look at a few of their charts after we look at Ethereum Bitcoin, right? Now, we are getting down into our flag zone of Ethereum Bitcoin. So if ETH breaks below this trend line, we're going back to the orange box. We could literally go back down to 0.023. Not looking good. I don't want to resume this downtrend, but gosh, it sure looks like we are. Hit a lower high, lower high, lower high. And that's on the monthly. You take the weekly, it really doesn't look any better. You got a high, lower high, another lower high, another lower high. That's just not looking too positive for Ethereum versus Bitcoin, but this is a great chart to look at. If we are bouncing above here and starting to make our way back up, that is telling us it's alt season time. It's when we're way down in the bottom, right? And below the zone here was the perfect time to accumulate altcoins and ETH beta plays. Now, I want to take a look at a couple of our favorite altcoin charts like we always do. But today, I wanted to add in a couple new ones, a couple ones I hadn't looked at in a while. Ones that I'm considering selling, but I have not yet. So we're just holding right now. One of them is Hondo Finance, an RWA play. It was the darling of Ethereum, Trump organization, everything else. And there's been a heavy sell-off on the weekly, really since September. We are way below our FIB levels at this point, broke below the zero. But I'm going to keep these marked on my chart, at least for now, because it just lets me know. Now, if we were going to do our own new FIB retracement on the weekly, let's try that and see how it looks. Oops, I have too many indicators. All right, here we go. All right, so our auto FIB retracement, literally, we're looking below the 0.038 level. So our one level would be 60 cents, and we're heavily below that. I'm just waiting, to be quite honest. Ondo's one of the plays I may de-risk whenever a pump occurs. I'm not accumulating right now, but it's one that, in my opinion, should have been sold off by myself a lot longer ago. Not financial advice, of course. And that doesn't mean I'm not bullish on Ondo, but for this cycle, yeah, kind of cooked as far as I'm concerned. I wanted to take a look at Sway, or Sui, right? This one ain't looking too hot either. We're below the 1 range. I'm keeping an eye on $1.09. I think this is going to be an excellent zone to accumulate. Sway, right now I'm just holding on. I've actually converted a ton of my Sway back into Bitcoin, probably 3/4 of it. I still am holding on to a little bit, not accumulating at all right now. Okay. Pendle is another one. I wasn't really going to look at the chart, but Pendle, I'm going to be selling off that one also. Not that I'm not bullish on it. I just don't like holding on to tons of altcoins if I think we're going into a bear market. As you can see, we broke way below support. $1.86 right now. That's awful. I'm waiting for some kind of relief bounce. I will probably convert most of this back into Ethereum, maybe Bitcoin, not for sure. Now let's get into more of my high conviction plays for the end of 2026. Oh yes, we still have some link too. That might end up getting converted back to ETH. And sometimes I do correlated liquidity pools, and then I earn fees while it gets converted back into the other asset. I made a video on using LPs to take profits. Check it out on my YouTube channel, and I'll release another in the near future and show you how I use correlated pairs to sometimes earn fees while I'm also trading out of coins. But that's another video for another day. Hold on one second. All right. Now, the next thing I wanted to look at, and I apologize, I'm on my laptop. It's very difficult for me to follow along if there's any chats. So please, I will go back and try to get back with everyone. Leave a comment. I will try to answer every comment in the video in the near future. Now, AVAX, we've already sold out into ETH around $13 and something. Thank God, because it's still going down. I wish I would have sold it back at 15 or even 18, but we did not. AVAX, we farmed a long time, so we were making all kinds of fees, and we did pretty good, but not so good. We just stayed in our positions way too long. Anyway, enough about the ones that I'm not bullish on right now. Let's look at some plays that I am bullish on. Now, Arrow looks terrible, but I'm waiting for this one to bottom out. I want to buy a allotment of locked Arrow. I'm still bullish on Aerodrome. I think next cycle, Aerodrome will continue building, continue being the major liquidity provider within the base ecosystem, and I am bullish on the Arrow ecosystem. That is even the DEX that we decided to create our first DADSDEFISPACE LP on. And at this end of the year stream, I hope through 2026 that we can grow not just our brand, but grow our market cap, grow our holders, and provide more value to the community. Now, do understand that DADSDEFISPACE is a creator token. Think of this as a Patreon key that can be traded. And I actually like farming them, but again, it's extremely volatile, experimental, and risky. But I'm in it to win it. I'm in it for the long haul, and I don't want to do any damage to the community. So if you have comments, if you have suggestions, please DM me, DADDefi1013 on Telegram or CryptoZone1013 on X. You can comment on my videos. You can send me a message through DADSDEFISPACE, or you can buy my creator coin on ZORA and private message me over there. There's so many different ways to get in contact with us. Anyway, back to Aerodrome Finance. Oops. I messed up my chart. Hold on 1 second. All right, we're looking at Aerodrome Finance. We topped out around 157. We had a second lower high at $1.30 that occurred November. Again, that is when we really should have sold our position. But what we've been doing, we did convert around half of our position into ETH, and we've been accumulating Aero below 72 cents. Now that we are even lower, I should have waited. I want to do some more accumulation, but right now we are just farming Aero. I kind of want to wait and see where we bottom out at. But I'll probably in the new year, I'll start accumulating again. But why am I so bullish on Aero is I see what's going on in the base ecosystem. And when the trading picks up, the volume picks up on Aerodrome much more than I even see pick up on, say, Uniswap or PancakeSwap or some of the other dexes out there. I don't see that losing momentum. So if Aero can survive this bear, that's only going to make me even more bullish on Aerodrome. So Aerodrome has a place in my portfolio, although I have cut the position down. If we have a pump, Aero easily could get back up to, let's say, 74 cents. And then what I'm really looking at is this 0.38 level, which is right now sitting just under $1.20. Oh, enough about that one. Let's take a look at our only now and favorite AI play, which is Tau. Now, Tau is kind of a infrastructure AI play. We have been doing very well with some of our subnets, although I don't know if I want to look at them today. The market has not looked too hot. It's probably earning around an 80% APR. We convert most of that into Tau tokens and stake them. But our Tau has been on a terrible downtrend. In fact, it's almost back down to its entry, which is sitting at about $183. During our huge capitulation event, we got to 200. So sitting anything under 250 to me, it's time to accumulate Tau. Although we could go even lower during the bear market, it's hard to say. But I like their tokenomics. It's based off of Bitcoin, 21 million. They just underwent their halving. So you be careful with subnets because some of them are not going to make it. Subnets are kind of like angel investing in AI. And that's how I apply my capital to it. I'm going to make another video on that in the near future also. They have an interesting ecosystem. And then the only other two coins I want to look at, this one here, the ZORA ecosystem. And ZORA, by the way, has looked terrible. It is all the way down at 0.03485. Now, there's been a lot of ZORA drama over the last few days, and we'll go back to the chart in just a minute. But if you take a look on ZORA with some of the different tokens, right? We're going to take a look at this because I think this is important, right? These are your trending tokens right now, right? Jesse has gone way low. We're looking at around 4.9 million. Last time I looked at it, we were at 6.2, 5.8, something like that. I'm still farming this one. It's not going anywhere. Super volatile, but everybody is getting out or taking profits. I think a lot of people probably got wrecked on that one. You got to be careful with these. Either trade them in the day, or you are investing into the creator itself, which means they better be long term. I mean, look at BatDad. It pumped up to 1.16 million. It's all the way down at, what is it now? 153K. And this was a big one. Docker. Now, Docker's one of the big, early, original, serious creators in this space. And let me go out a week and you'll see what happened, right? We were sitting at just under 1 million, and now we're at 268,000. We bought them out about 226. We got wrecked on our LP. It was down like 70-80%, right? I even know a few people, no names mentioned, that lost a lot due to Docker and some of the other big creators on ZORA. And I am not throwing this out here to throw anyone under the bus or judge anybody, but I do want you to understand, if you decide to invest in creator tokens, you are risking it all on that creator. I would never put all of my eggs in one basket. You don't know if they're going to rug. You don't know if there's a family emergency. If my family needed that money, I might rug it. You know, that's probably not true. I couldn't live with myself, but who knows? So I create a creator portfolio, 3, 4, 5 different positions. Okay. And then that allows a little bit more protection if somebody rugs or somebody gets banned or whatever. Okay. Now, if you truly want to become a creator, you really need to be thinking about long-term value for your community. Is that value art? Is that value social? Is that value education? Is that value yield? Like, there's so many different ways to look at this. But if you're just trying to extract, that's going to be temporary. Hold on 1 second. It's really, really difficult with the whole family in the house trying to get a live in. I apologize. I should have just done a pre-recorded video, but I was running out of time. And then we will have our best of 2025 update, hopefully in the next few days. That one may be a little late. All right, back to what we were talking about. With the ZORA creator ecosystem, you got to be careful. Because, I mean, this was a big player that everyone felt very safe with. And if I remember correctly, he said, or maybe there was something said like taxes need to be paid, this and that. Look, trust is huge in the ZORA space, especially if you're not like that huge trader. I cannot promise you anything other than my token is something that has my brand on it. And once it gets to a little bit larger market cap, we will be verifying the token. We will be KYC'd. We will be burning some tokens, and we will also be eventually locking some liquidity. Okay. Anyway, the ZORA ecosystem, I've been heavily interested in. Once we started to go into a downturn, probably the wrong time, but I want to build through this during the bear market. Enough about the negatives of ZORA. Yes, we have been in a massive downtrend, but I mean, ZORA's down 10%, and then people get scared and they sell off with it. We topped out around, what was it, like 25,000 a month ago. We were almost 128, almost $29,000. Right now, we're really getting back down into the lower end of the range, 20,400. We're slightly below that. Most of that is actually ZORA price depreciation. That means it's an excellent time to get yourself a stack of your favorite creator tokens, just saying. But we have actually been gaining holders during the downtrend, which is awesome. You can see many of our holders right here. 8-bit base, top NFT. Yes, shout out to my crew. Fuzzy Tater, Dexter on base and lab art. 7, Crypto Granny. Number 5, Blind Trader, Artistic Minnow. Mr. Lightspeed, in a sense, like the fearless leader. We want to see him in the top 5, and it's getting closer and closer. Crypto Mom, a Crypto Cat. Who else we got here? Metal Base. So many others here. Now, as you can see, lots and lots of different supporters, and we love it. We love it. And this is our most recent post. I really like this one. The Bitcoin puzzle, the last piece. Don't you wish? But I'm going to even show you my commitment right now by using some of my own Solana to purchase some of my creator token. So I'm at my account, DADSDEFISPACE on ZORA. I'm clicking trade, making sure it's this $50 of Solana. We're going to buy 0.25 to begin with. That's around $30. Click buy. Boom. You know, I actually want to be doing a lot more purchases with Solana because I want to build up this Solana liquidity pool with my token. I'm kind of curious if there'll ever be ways to bridge where there can be pools within both ecosystems. That is a discussion for another day, but it is something that I'm not going to look into over the next little bit. All right. Enough about ZORA. This was not supposed to be a ZORA video. The next thing I want to look at is some of the other plays we're going to be taking during the bear market. That is the Tau ecosystem. Now, as I said, the Tau ecosystem is a AI infrastructure play. Oh man, it looks like we're really popping up. This might be good. So we're going to go into Tau Stats. .io, which is an excellent website to kind of keep track of your subnets and how they're performing, et cetera, et cetera. And once you get there, well, first I got to bring up my portfolio. Hold on one second. All right, here we go. Now, it's been down a little bit, but let's check it out, right? We have realized 0.05 gains, unrealized 0.03, so we're still in positives. Most of our subnets are earning, oh wait, are we on the yearly? I can't go that far. Let's go on the weekly so we can see what we're earning. Void AI, 119%. 80% on Tau Hash, which is kind of like community Bitcoin mining. I like what they're building. Bitcast, which we hope to eventually become a influencer with Bitcast, and you may start seeing some more Tau content on our channel. And then finally, I've really been looking at this 10x, which is a sort of perpetual exchange, and we're the counterparty, and we've been earning around 26% on our Tau. And when it really kicks up, it gets up to like maybe 60%. And then a web AI agents play, subnet 36. Although this one I'm kind of watching, it's done relatively well, but taking a look at the chart, we have really pumped. So I kind of want to take some profits off this one, and I'm going to show you how I would do that. So as you can see, this subnet right here, and I'm going to just use my wallet. I like it better. I'm going to go into my Tau wallet, select my account, go into my staking function, bring up all of my stakes, go into the one I was just talking about, the web agents. It's pumped a little bit, right? And then we have to find our validator, which we will. Hold on. I think it's this one. So we have about 32 of this token staked right now. And what we're going to do is we are going to unstake 30. Well, no, we're going to unstake 50% of it. Now, when we unstake this, it gets converted back into Tau tokens. And then usually what I do is stake that within just regular TAL staking, which is not a lot, but you earn like 6% or something like that, 4 to 6%. Now, usually the unstaking and the swap takes about 1 minute to do. You can see that my portfolio has now changed because we are realizing some of our gains. Now, we do have some unrealized losses in the total of around $80 or 0.25 TAL, but that's just something to be thinking about as you invest in different subnets. Now, I'm going to make a more detailed video on this in the near future. Maybe even have a stream strictly on TAL, strictly on ZORA, strictly on Aerodrome, so I can show you how I utilize my altcoin plays, because I don't just want to invest in the altcoins and the momentum plays. I want to use them, okay? Now, the final thing that I wanted to look at today is my third strategy over the next few months. And those are going to be stable coin plays, right? Now, what I'm doing this time, instead of just taking you to Pendle and looking around some yields or Exponent on Solana or whatever, Aave, if you don't want to worry, I wanted to take a look at stable coins. Hold on 1 second. I hate this. All these changes to DeFi Llama, I can't find anything. We're going to take a look at stable coins, and I mainly want to focus on Solana, Base, and Aerodrome. We're going to start with Base. And what I would like to take a look at aren't just this. I want to look at stable coin yields. When do I get into the stable coin yields? Oh, we're going to have to pull up stable coins here. Yeah. Well, we'll just start with Base and USDC since that's the main token on it. And we're going to sort by the 30-day average APY. And I want hold on 1 second. Oh, I forgot about this. We're going to try this Llama AI. They've integrated AI, so we can see what we can do with this and see if we can. I don't have my login on this computer, so we'll have to do this at a later date. Anyway, going back to DeFi Llama, let's look at yields. And we're going to look at all stables. And we're looking at stable coins only, and we're going to sort the 30-day APY and see what we can find that might be nice on Base. Ooh, USDC Z, that's a dangerous one. USDC, but what's that? A 10%. This, whoa, the 30-day average is crazy. Yeah, maybe not. You have this USD1 pool is kind of crazy looking. Ooh, this is kind of a nice one here. It's a little low in liquidity on Radium. It's a USD1 USDT pool. We'll take a look at that one later. Those are earning around 20%. And then here's USDT looped at 20%. If you really want to look at some of the easier options, you can take a look at something like Camino Finance, Pendle Finance, or other lending or yield-bearing protocols. I'm going to be doing a lot more research over the next little bit. We have an AI agent doing some yield stuff for us, and we have some Pendle PTs. I'll be researching and getting back with you all where I feel like some of the best stable yields are, and I hope to be providing one in the next few days for a new part of our Yield Hunter series. Now, the final thing I wanted to talk about today is just, and I didn't realize that I did not have my charts up, so I apologize. We'll have a much better live stream in the next week once I'm back home. But this was my only chance that I was going to be able to get online and be able to provide at least some information. I apologize that last little section, I didn't even have my screen up. But just consider it a podcast. And I hope everyone out there had a blessed 2025. Happy New Year's. And I hope that your 2026 is filled with peace and blessings. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.